With just days to go until the official kickoff of the NFL season, the Green Bay Packers are bound for Brazil. I'm NBC26 Today's McLeod Hageman, live from Austin Straubel International Airport with everything you need to know.
A water boil advisory is frustrating neighbors in St. Cloud. I'm your Fond du Lac County neighborhood reporter, Margaret Cahill, with more on what they're experiencing.
A discovery that some researchers say is unlike anything they've ever seen before. I'm your Manitowoc neighborhood reporter, Preston Stober, following a find in Lake Michigan.
In just a few hours, the Green Bay Packers will leave Green Bay for Brazil, taking off on this plane right behind me that you can see here, probably a little bit better in the daylight. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm NBC26 Today's McLeod Hageman.
And I'm meteorologist Lauren Larson.
And it's kind of a chilly start to the day here.
Yeah.
You told me to put on my quarter zip. I'm glad I did, because it's a little cold out here today.
Yeah, I know. It definitely is starting to feel like fall as we're kind of getting into September. We'll take a look at your temperatures here in a second, but right now we're talking about flying, and we have a clear and calm radar throughout the entire state. We'll talk a little bit more about that journey to Brazil, taking a look at that here in a couple minutes. But like McLeod said, 53 degrees here outside. It is a little bit chilly, so you might want a light jacket if you are headed out to the bus stop early this morning. We're not seeing much for winds, though, less than 2 miles an hour throughout all of our neighborhoods. And our temperatures are actually warmer than they were yesterday morning, especially as we look towards the lakeshore. 63 degrees right now in Kewaunee, 57 in Manitowoc, 58 in Sturgeon Bay, and again, 56 here in Green Bay. We're seeing those light winds out of the south, meaning we are going to see plenty of warmth as we go later into the day today. And here's a look at that daycast. Again, we might see a little bit of smoke here. We'll have to wait and see until the sun comes up, get a better look at that. It did impact some places yesterday. We aren't seeing a decrease in air quality, and that smoke is going to be moving out as we go throughout the day today. Lots of sunshine helping our temperatures into the low 80s later this afternoon, and potentially one of our last 80-degree days of the year. I'll have more on that full forecast. Let's take a look at stories in your neighborhoods making headlines.
Neighbors here in St. Cloud say they're frustrated after the village issued a water boil advisory. I'm your Fond du Lac County neighborhood reporter, Margaret Cahill, and I spoke with neighbors about those concerns.
Well, I'm not happy about it. Who would be?
The village board announced the advisory Monday after the system to maintain water levels in the tower failed. The village says low levels could lead to unsafe bacteria in the water, and the advisory is in place until further notice. Neighbors like Alicia Lair say it made it difficult to get her son ready for his first day of school.
We barely got a bath in for him because we had no pressure, we had no nothing.
The village distributed drinking water at the village hall from 5 to 7 Tuesday, but not everyone, like Lana Schimmelplenning, was able to pick it up.
I have breathing issues, so I don't go anywhere.
Village Board President Eric Heimerman says they're delivering water to people who can't make it or need water sooner. And this isn't the first time St. Cloud has been under a boil advisory. Heimerman says it happened 4 years ago when a water main break drained the tower. Neighbors tell me they hope it doesn't happen again.
We've had this a few times. Something's got to change.
According to the village, the boil advisory will be lifted after the water has been confirmed to be safe through testing. They hope to have that completed by Thursday. In St. Cloud, I'm Margaret Cahill, NBC26.
The man suspected in the death of a UW Whitewater gymnast was in court yesterday. Kara Welsh was shot to death Friday in her apartment near campus, and authorities have arrested Chad Richards in her murder. Richards is facing charges of first-degree intentional homicide, endangering safety by use of a dangerous weapon, and disorderly conduct while armed. Flags were at half-staff on the UWW campus on the first day of class to honor Welsh's life.
Over Labor Day weekend, there was a lot of activity on Lake Michigan, but that lake is far from an open book. I'm your Manitowoc neighborhood reporter, Preston Stober, following a find deep in the lake that could open doors to discovery.
500 feet deep, 600 feet wide. These are sinkholes at the bottom of Lake Michigan. Wisconsin Maritime Museum Director Kevin Collin is fascinated by them. Collins says theories range from the sinkholes being formed by glaciers to the depressions resulting from ages of intense pressure. Discovered by citizen scientists Brendan Baylott and Dusty Cliffman of Wisconsin, the sinkholes are located within the National Marine Sanctuary along Wisconsin's lakeshore.
This is really what it's set up for, is to spark curiosity, to bring in scientists and technology to document this incredible resource, which is the Great Lakes and our section of the Great Lakes.
Collins says that many discoveries like this one can be found by citizens or everyday explorers. He says that if anyone finds out something interesting about our lake, that they should reach out to an organization like the Maritime Museum or NOAA. On the lakeshore, Preston Stober, NBC26.
And you can join NBC26's Nina Sperano this Saturday at Lambeau Field for the 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb, benefiting the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. Registration begins at 8 a.m. and the opening ceremony starts at 9. In just a few hours, the Green Bay Packers will fly to Brazil, hoping to start the NFL season with a victory against the Eagles. I'm NBC26 Today's McLeod Hageman, live from Austin Straubel International Airport, where fans and players are coming together to take off here in just a few hours. Now, not only are the green and gold popular here in the Green Bay area and across the Midwest, they also have quite the following across the Brazil area as well. I connected with Marcus Revere, who manages the Brazilian Green Bay Packers Twitter account, and he tells me when he heard the Packers would be playing in Sao Paulo, it felt like a dream come true. Marcus says he's always dreamed of watching the Packers in person, and this weekend, he's getting his chance.
I got really emotional at the time, a little bit of tears for a grown-up man, but it's so many times. Watching the Packers, wish to be at Lambeau Field, something that I couldn't do yet, and the Packers coming, so this is a real dream come true.
And Marcus says he can't wait to meet the team in person and hopefully connect with players like Jordan Love and Jair Alexander. He says the Pack has quite the following in Brazil for a number of reasons, but you're going to have to stay tuned to find out why.
Here at the Brown County Democratic offices, candidates gathered to talk about a controversial conservative policy plan. I'm Perry Apostolakos in Green Bay. Here's what Democrats and Republicans had to say about Project 2025. Former President Donald Trump has publicly disavowed Project 2025. The policy proposal, led by conservative group the Heritage Foundation, is a guide for the next conservative president of the United States. But 140 people from his administration are reportedly linked to it.
When someone tells you they have nothing to do with it, but 140 of their folks have written it, that tells me volumes. And since they're trying to lie about it, our job is to make sure we're telling the truth about it.
So the fact that President Trump has had connections with some conservatives that work in Washington, D.C. should not be a surprise to anybody. And so, the fact is that he's not adopting Project 2025.
Representative Mark Pocan and congressional candidate Dr. Kristen Lyerly gave a presentation on Project 2025 in Green Bay Tuesday evening, taking questions from voters and reporters. I spoke with Brown County Republican Party Chairman Doug Reich beforehand.
I think it's a way for maybe Democrats to fearmonger or scare their base.
As a woman who takes care of women in this country, I am afraid, and my patients are afraid. People will lose access to health care. They will have to pay more for prescription drugs under this plan. They redefine contraception. Should people be afraid? Absolutely, they should be afraid.
In response to the town hall meeting, Trump endorsed congressional candidate Tony Weed's campaign sent a statement which reads in part, "The last thing Wisconsin's 8th congressional district voters want is the insane agenda of Mark Pocan and his Madison values in this district." As for how real the possibility is that some of the ideas in Project 2025 could become law, Pocan says it very much exists.
If they would have a Republican Congress, which they currently have, if they have the Senate, which is very possible because of the seats that are up this cycle, and they had the White House, there's really few limits to what they couldn't do in this plan.
Former President Trump is holding a rally in Mosenny, Wisconsin this weekend. In Green Bay, Perry Apostolakos, NBC26.
And campaigns continue throughout the week. President Joe Biden will return to Wisconsin tomorrow. The White House says he'll be in Westby campaigning for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. On the other side, the Trump campaign will be in Milwaukee Thursday nights, and then former President Donald Trump himself will come to Mosinee for a rally on Saturday.
Well, it's Wednesday morning and we are live outside Austin Straubel Airport, and we do have a similar day in store for us today like the last couple of days. Yesterday, our highs were in the mid-70s, 75 here in Green Bay, as well as Appleton and Manitowoc, but our normal high temperature is dropping as we go throughout the month. 2 years ago, we had 9 days of 80s in the month of September, and today we are expected to hit 80, which is above our normal high temperature, but our normal high, or our average high temperature, will fall to the mid-60s by October 1st. And we do have some fall-like weather in store for us this weekend. I'll show you that full 7-day forecast coming up.
And many of our neighborhoods went back to school this week. We'll take a look at how that went after the break. Yesterday marked the first day of class for many communities throughout northeast Wisconsin. More than 24 districts in our neighborhood celebrated the beginning of the school year. And Menominee Elementary School in Oshkosh opened its doors to students for the first time ever. For more information on schools in your neighborhood throughout the year, NBC26 will have you covered on air and online. And you can change a child's story when you donate as little as $12. Today only, all contributions to NBC26's If You Give a Child a Book campaign will be matched by the Scripps Howard Fund, putting books in the hands of children who lack access to these valuable resources. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen or visit NBC26.com/giveabook and make a difference today.
It's an exciting morning here at Austin Straubel International Airport in Green Bay. We are getting ready to welcome the Packers to the airport, and then they are taking off quickly this morning and headed to Brazil for the season opener on Friday. You can watch that game right here on NBC26. Now, looking at the weather for today, you might have noticed some haze in the sky yesterday afternoon, and this is due to wildfire smoke burning further out into the west. And we are seeing this thick layer of smoke throughout most of the state here this morning, but it isn't impacting air quality here on the surface. It is really remaining in the upper levels, so I'm not even smelling any of that out here right now. That'll eventually clear out as we go throughout the middle of the day. It might be a little bit noticeable this afternoon or even into tomorrow morning, but overall, the thickest is moving on about noon today. And besides the smoke, we are seeing clear skies. Really, only a couple of clouds build in later this afternoon, but overall, once again, we're looking at a sunny, nice day for us and a little bit warmer than yesterday. Some of our neighborhoods will see 80 degrees this afternoon. 80 is your high in Green Bay and Watoma and in Pembine, as well as in Shawano. Lots of sunshine. Zoom in here towards your Fox cities, again, showing you upper 70s, lots of sunshine. Southwesterly winds only up to about 10 miles an hour. So it should be another great day for all of our neighborhoods. And that is because we are seeing this area of high pressure. Now, you'll notice as we look further out to the west, there is a cold front and a couple of low pressure systems. That is going to change our weather as we go throughout the next couple of days. Take a look at our skycast for Thursday. I know I've been saying we're expecting rain Thursday afternoon. Now it looks like a line of showers might move through midday, and then another line of showers moving through later into Thursday evening. We are still not expecting severe weather or heavy rain with those systems. And it is going to be a little bit cooler once that moves through. Our highs fall into the mid-60s for this weekend. So definitely feeling like fall. Break out the flannel for Saturday and Sunday. And then as we're heading into next week, still sunny skies, but our temperatures back into the 70s.
Coming up, Sports Director Brandon Kinnard will have more from the Austin Straubel International Airport, taking a look at the Green Bay Packers send-off as they head to Brazil. The Milwaukee Brewers took on the St. Louis Cardinals again last night, losing 4-7. They'll have the chance to redeem themselves during one last game against the Cardinals tonight. First pitch is at 6:40 at American Family Field. The Green Bay Packers are bound for Brazil here in just a couple of hours. We are live from Austin Straubel International Airport. I am joined this morning by Sports Director Brandon Kinnard. Early morning for you, but pretty exciting out here, right, Brandon?
Yeah, good to be with you guys this morning, Mac. I couldn't turn down the opportunity to see this massive piece of aircraft equipment and see the guys take off for South America later this morning. It's not your average road trip for the Packers. Not like they're flying to Minneapolis or Chicago or even like San Francisco. This is over 5,000 miles for the NFL NFL's first ever game in South America. Now, throughout the week, we talked to a number of players just to see how they're going to handle this 11-ish hour flight. A lot of varied answers, from Netflix to reading to music to sleeping. Cornerback Eric Stokes has kind of an interesting approach. Here's what he had to say yesterday.
I'm getting a little bit of sleep tonight. I'm really not trying to go to sleep tonight. So when we leave in the AM, I'll be still sleepy. So I'm planning on at least passing out for at least 5 hours. I'm at least giving myself 5 hours. I pray. And then the rest of the 5, I can probably thug it out. But yeah, I'm going to be looking at film. It could be a lot of little stuff I'm going to be trying to do, just keep myself occupied for that 11 hour flight.
So that's, I thought, interesting. Not really sleeping last night, kind of pulling all-nighter, get your sleep on the plane. It's a big plane, so there's going to be room to lay out for those guys and pretty much do whatever they want. Jordan Love did say that he plans on sleeping for most of the flight, and I think his exact quote was, just pray that it goes by quickly and safely.
Yeah, how does this flight affect them physically? An 11-hour flight, I mean, that's a long time up in the air.
Yeah, interestingly, Josh Myers, the offensive lineman, he kind of went back to the London game a couple years ago and said he could feel it in his legs, and that's about a 6 or 7 hour flight. You're talking, 4 or 5 hours longer in this case. So, he kind of joked that he might do some stretching on the plane, but no jumping jacks in the aisle or anything like that. He joked that, with his size, an offensive lineman might cause some turbulence. So, Matt LaFleur, though, said they've talked extensively with their training staff, with their nutrition staff, and he feels they have a good plan in place to keep the players ready to play on Friday night. A 7:15 kickoff then here on NBC 26.
And that Green Bay Packers Philadelphia Eagles game in Brazil is this Friday. Kickoff is set for 7:15 p.m. You can watch the game right here on NBC 26, your official Green Bay Packers station. Plus, the Athletics' Matt Schneidman will be reporting from Brazil. You can catch him this Friday on NBC 26 Today. Matt will also be joining us right here from the airport coming up later this morning. And our newly debuted Good Morning Football Overtime continues. Stay up to date on the biggest NFL stories and lots of fun. You can watch Good Morning Football Overtime this morning at 9 on TV 32 or catch the replay this evening at 4 right here on NBC 26.
All right, as we are waking up live in Green Bay, I see a couple of stars here this morning, nice clear skies, and a calm and quiet radar throughout the entire state. Let's zoom out a little bit and kind of pretend that we are flying the course of this airplane behind me as the Packers are traveling to Brazil later today, or here in the next couple of hours. It is an 11-hour flight. They might run into a little bit of turbulence as there is a front kind of draped through the Gulf of Mexico, but things are looking pretty clear in South America. So overall, they are expecting a smooth flight. And then as we turn our eyes forward to Friday, again, our coverage right here on NBC 26 if you want to watch that game. But the weather in Brazil is supposed to be pretty nice, low 70s and a cloudy start to the day, but eventually clearing out later into the evening.
I'm John Matarese. Have you ever looked at your bank account and wish you could suddenly find some extra money to put in there? Well, you may be able to. I'll show you coming up.
There's a 14% chance you have money just waiting to be claimed. We're talking about unclaimed property, and it takes just seconds to check. Consumer reporter John Matarese says where to look so you don't waste your money.
Have you ever been sitting in the kitchen looking at your bank account and wish you could suddenly find some extra money? Well, you may be able to, simply by looking for unclaimed funds.
Michael Horrigan is a guitar teacher who used to play in several bands. He heard reports about unclaimed funds, so on a whim,
we went to the missing money site, and so we put the information in.
He went to missingmoney.com, and in a few seconds,
you have qualified. It's your money.
He ended up with 4 checks totaling more than $600.
$642, I think. It's a lot of money.
They were royalty checks for TV appearances he did about 15 years ago.
Conan O'Brien, we did a song called Spit It Out.
There's a good chance you may have unclaimed funds too. The National Association of Unclaimed Property Administrators says 1 in 7 people have unclaimed money from uncashed checks, overpayments, or utility deposits. Association President Carmen Pigler says the most common reason is a change of address.
Businesses and financial institutions that we have relationships or bank accounts with lose track of us.
Other reasons include inactive accounts, a company going out of business, or the death of a relative. Pigler recommends you check for unclaimed funds at least once a year using your state's official unclaimed property website or missingmoney.com.
Missing Money aggregates all the unclaimed property websites from across the country.
Not everyone finds $600. This claim from Apple, for instance, is worth just 81 cents. Still, Michael says it's worth checking out.
If you have something, it could be your lucky day.
And if you find anything, you won't be playing the blues, so you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese.
Even though we are still about 30 minutes away from sunrise and it doesn't look too sunny out here right now, we are expecting sunshine throughout all of our neighborhoods as we go throughout the day today. It is feeling like fall as we take a look towards that weekend forecast and the weather in Brazil as the Packers are taking off today. We'll talk about that and more coming up the next half hour.
With just days to go until the Packers face off against the Eagles in Brazil, we are seeing the team off this morning from Green Bay. I'm NBC26 Today's McLeod Hageman, live from Austin Straubel International Airport, where the excitement is already mounting.
New updates on the Green Bay public market, how it will generate millions as construction continues.
Student athletes protest the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh's plan to tear down the athletic dome.
From the frozen tundra to battling it out in Brazil, the Green Bay Packers can really play anywhere. Good morning and thank you so much for joining us. I'm NBC26 Today's McLeod Hageman.
And I'm meteorologist Lauren Larson.
And kind of a chilly start to our Wednesday here. I'm glad that you told me to put on an extra layer because out here it's kind of chilly, but that's going to change today, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Fall days like this, we've all experienced this. It always starts out cold. You maybe drive into work with your heat on. And then when you're going home from work, you need the AC because it's going to be hot and sunny. Let's take a look at that forecast as we go throughout the day today. First, we are not seeing any sunshine outside quite yet. Our sunrise this morning is a little bit closer to 6:15 as again, we are getting a little bit further into the year and our temperatures throughout all of our neighborhoods right now sitting in the mid-50s. So it is a little bit warmer than yesterday, but if you are going to be standing outside like we are, it is a little bit cool for this time of year. And then looking at our satellite and radar, clear skies, seeing some stars out here at the airport, and should be smooth flight for the Packers again as they're taking off. Here's a look at the daycast throughout the day today. Lots of sunshine, so even though it doesn't necessarily feel warm outside right now, we will see upper 70s and low 80s for us later today. And again, still seeing sunny skies now for the third day in a row. We are expecting some rain as we look towards tomorrow and Friday. So enjoy the sunshine today. I'll tell you a little bit more about the rain we can expect coming up. Here's a look now at stories making headlines in your neighborhoods.
The village of St. Cloud in Fond du Lac County is under a water boil advisory until further notice. The village says it may be in effect until Thursday. Bottled water for village residents will be available at the firehouse, which is also Village Hall, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. today. A 77-year-old woman died after being hit from behind on her motorized scooter by a pickup truck. The Green Lake County Sheriff's Office says it happened last Thursday night just before 6 on County Highway N near Center Road in the town of Green Lake. The woman who was hit, 77-year-old Linda Miles from the Markesan area, was taken to a hospital and later died from her injuries. The truck driver, 80-year-old James Prochnow from the Markesan area, was not hurt. Deputies say the scooter was overturned in a ditch.
We're here at the Brown County Courthouse following a case we've been following since early this year. The 19-year-old man accused of sexually assaulting 3 girls in a Green Bay hotel was back in court. Prosecutors accuse Mauricio Paulus of inappropriately touching girls in the hallways and an elevator of the Tundra Lodge. We spoke with the families of 2 of the victims earlier this year. One says they're angry, another says it made them feel permanently unsafe. Though Paulus's case appeared bound for trial after not guilty pleas in April, Tuesday his attorneys hinted at seeking a plea hearing or a settlement.
Our request today is going to be for a 60-day adjournment, but to set it for a tentative plea hearing in hopes that that evaluation can be completed, which will give Attorney Dorsey and I to something a little bit more substantive to talk about regarding settlement negotiations.
We reached out to the Tundra Lodge and did receive a call back, but the hotel did not give a comment. Powless is expected back in court for the plea hearing in late October. Let's turn to sports now, as John Miller was at the final Packers practice before they fly to Brazil. John.
A new proposal to help develop the Green Bay public market. I'm your Green Bay neighborhood reporter Andrew Amuzu with details on the new agreements and how it will impact local businesses. Eric Brundage owns this small fashion business, Life Love Incorporated, across the street from where the Green Bay Public Market will be. The city expects the market to bring millions of customers each year, generating $65 million in economic impact across downtown and the city. On Tuesday, the Redevelopment Authority approved a proposal to create a tax incremental district, or TID, solely for the market. The proposal also states the project would include more than $3 million in incentives, $1 million coming from the Wisconsin Trust Fund, and a little more than $2 million from the project tax credits on a pay-as-you-go basis. Those funds would help pay off construction and other maintenance costs over 27 years. Garrett Bader is the board member for On Broadway, Inc., the group behind the project. He says Tuesday's approval pushes estimated funding to $10 million of their $12.5 million goal.
Many people believe in this, that this will be a huge catalyst project, the types of which we've not seen downtown in several decades.
The funding proposal will now go to the City Council for approval, and Bader hopes the market is able to open by spring of 2025. In Green Bay, Andrew Amuzu, NBC26.
Tuesday morning in Oshkosh, student athletes gathered to chant, "Save our bubble." I'm your Oshkosh neighborhood reporter Claire Peterson. After a protest and student feedback convinces the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh to reconsider its decision to tear down the athletic dome. The students say that within a week of the return of classes, they were told the domed arena would come down at the end of September. Over 2,500 people have signed a petition asking the university to reconsider its decision. In a statement sent to me Tuesday morning, the university said the dome will remain open as they move through the academic year, and a timeline has not been officially set. The chancellor plans to create a task force to look at the future of the dome.
There are lots of sports teams that use it, including youth sports teams in the community, intramural sports, and as well as the varsity sports on campus. And them taking it down would be detrimental to where we can all practice.
The university also told me it had already began to reconsider its plan for the dome because of student feedback that started last week. In Oshkosh, Claire Peterson, NBC26.
Packers players and fans are gearing up for some excitement this morning at Austin Straubel International Airport. Now, not only are they going to be excited here in Green Bay, but I'm also learning they're going to be met with the same energy once they get off the plane in Brazil. I had the opportunity to connect with Packers superfan Marcus Revere, who lives in Brazil, and he tells me he's been running the Brazilian Green Bay Packers Twitter page for the last 13 years, and he can't wait to see them in person. Marcus says when he first found out they'd be playing in Brazil, it felt like a dream. He tells me they have quite the following in Brazil because they're green and gold colors and their winning history, but he says that's not the only couple reasons.
But the most important is that the Packers doesn't have an owner. You know, the team belongs to the city, the team belongs to the people, the team belongs to the fans. And this is very similar to our soccer teams. You know, Brazilian soccer teams doesn't have owners too. Brazilian soccer teams belongs to the fans, belongs to the people.
Now, Marcus tells me some Packers fans have already been reaching out to him already, asking whether they'll be safe traveling to Brazil this week. He tells me he wants to remind everyone Brazil is safe, and as long as you show the community some love, they'll definitely return it. Marcus says he can't wait to watch the team in person and hopes to meet a few of those players this week. As for the outcome of the game, he says it's actually pretty simple. He's expecting the Packers to win by at least 50, so we'll see. And now to Madison, where medical marijuana advocates are putting pressure on lawmakers to legalize cannabis. Our state capitol reporter Harm Venheisen shows us what they're calling for.
Tribal leaders are making a new push to legalize medical marijuana here in Wisconsin.
This is a adult choice, a responsible solution to bring medicine to our state.
At the state capitol today, advocates launched a campaign to raise awareness around how cannabis can be used to treat conditions like chronic pain and PTSD. Currently, marijuana is legal for medicinal and recreational use in neighboring Illinois, Michigan, and Minnesota.
We've been sort of stuck in the middle of a prohibition island here between these three other states surrounding us, where our citizens are having to make a choice of whether to really commit a crime to go get their medicine and bring it back to the state.
That's Rob Perot. He founded Candigenous, a Native American hemp company in Cambridge. To legalize medical marijuana here in Wisconsin, a bill would have to pass both chambers of the Republican-controlled state legislature and then be signed by the governor. Last year, Assembly Republicans backed a proposal to create state-run medical marijuana dispensaries. That bill died because Senate Republicans didn't want a state agency operating dispensaries. I reached out to the leaders of both chambers of the legislature, but neither one of them said whether they expect medical marijuana to pass in some form when lawmakers come back into session next year. In Madison, Harm Venheisen, NBC26.
And campaigns continue throughout the week. President Joe Biden will return to Wisconsin tomorrow. The White House says he'll be in Westby campaigning for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. On the other side, the Trump campaign will be in Milwaukee Thursday nights, and then former President Donald Trump himself will come to Mosinee for a rally on Saturday.
It's an exciting morning as we are live outside Austin Straubel Airport, anticipating Packer fans to come here to send the Packers off to Brazil as we go throughout the next couple of hours. Now, if you are headed out to the bus stop or maybe you're headed out to the airport, it is a little bit chilly out there. Our storm tracker is saying it is 54.3 degrees right here, and we are seeing some light winds. So overall, it isn't all that chilly, but it is feeling like an early fall day. Our temperatures around 50 degrees as we take a look towards Fond du Lac County, 52 in Rosendale right now. As we go through the day, our temperatures will climb into the upper 70s, maybe touching 80 degrees. We're expecting lots of sunshine and some southerly winds up to about 10 miles an hour. And we've been spoiled with sunny days for the last 4 days. Unfortunately, that does come to an end. I'll let you know when you need that umbrella and the next chance of some thunderstorms in your neighborhood coming up.
Up next, an update on the Boeing Starliner spacecraft mission back to Earth and the two astronauts who have been stuck in space since June. NASA will hold a pre-departure press conference today to discuss the Boeing Starliner spacecraft. The craft is set to return to Earth on Friday without the astronauts on board. It's been at the International Space Station since June 6th. The news conference comes just a few days after a strange noise was reported coming from the craft. NASA determined the pulsing sound was from an audio configuration between the space station and the capsule. Astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams won't return to Earth until February, this time in a SpaceX capsule. Some sea turtles were recently rescued, not from the ocean, but a burning building. Sea Turtle Recover says it received a call from staff members at the Turtle Zoo in New Jersey that lightning had hit the building and it was on fire. The turtles were exposed to heavy smoke, so staff moved them to another building, performing thorough exams, and later took the turtles to the Atlantic Marine Conservation Society in New York. Yesterday marked the first day of class for many communities throughout northeast Wisconsin. More than 24 districts in our neighborhood celebrated the beginning of the school year, and Menominee Elementary School in Oshkosh opened its doors to students for the first time ever. For more information on schools in your neighborhood throughout the year, NBC26 will have you covered on air and online.
We are waking up live at Austin Straubel International Airport, and there are lots of sounds as we already have the plane here behind us and kind of seeing the excitement grow this morning, but there isn't much as far as sights. It is still pretty dark out here, and we aren't seeing a ton of daylight yet, and I think that is because we're seeing this thick layer of wildfire smoke in the upper atmosphere. So we're not seeing this impacting us here on the surface, but it is kind of blocking a little bit of sunlight. However, sunrise isn't still until after 6 a.m. now that we are further into the month of September. We are going to see the smoke clear out as we go later throughout the day today. Maybe a little bit more smoke in store for tomorrow morning, but overall, you are not going to notice this too much throughout the day today. Besides the smoke, we're seeing clear skies, a very calm and quiet skycast, maybe a couple of pop-up clouds this afternoon, but overall we're expecting blue skies throughout northeast Wisconsin. And again, here's a look at our tower cam. We aren't quite seeing that here on the surface, but it is a smoky start to the day. You can see Lambeau Field there shining still, so really not seeing a decrease in visibility. Again, besides that, we're expecting lots of sunshine today. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and low 80s, 74 today in Kewaunee. We'll zoom in a little bit closer to the lakeshore here. Again, 74 in Algoma. Nice sunny skies and calm winds for all of us. And that is because the same area of high pressure is still controlling our weather. I feel like a broken record. I've said this now 3 days in a row. But that cold front that we are seeing drape through Minnesota is going to move into our neighborhoods and bring us a little bit of rain. We're expecting this throughout the middle of the day Thursday, and then some scattered showers later into Thursday afternoon and lasting into Friday as well. And a drop in temperatures. Tomorrow is going to be 80 degrees before that cold front moves through, and then our highs fall into the 60s. Upper 60s for us on Friday, and then remaining in the 60s as the sunshine returns for us this weekend. So nice fall conditions, and then we're back into the 70s for next week.
Coming up, Sports Director Brandon Kinnard will have more from the Austin Straubel International Airport, taking a look at the Green Bay Packers send-off as they head to Brazil. So somewhat of a chilly morning as we start the day at Austin Straubel International Airport. We are seeing the Packers off for today. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm NBC26 Today's McLeod Hageman, joined by Sports Director Brandon Kinnard. And Brandon, this is going to be one of the longest flights in Packers history.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, they played a preseason game in Tokyo, so that one would have been longer. This is, though, the longest regular season flight that they've had to take, surpassing the London game from a couple of years ago. Packers fans, I'm sure, likely remember that one not so fondly. It was a 27-22 loss to the New York Giants. Kicked off a 5-game losing streak, and in a way was kind of the beginning of the end of the Aaron Rodgers era. The Packers went on to miss the playoffs. They eventually moved on from Aaron Rodgers. Not to be dramatic, but that was sort of the chain of events set off by that London game a couple of years ago. They're certainly hoping this one goes a little bit more smoothly. Matt LaFleur says even though this flight is longer, there won't be as much jet lag because it's only a 2-hour time difference. So he feels it'll be easier for his players to make that transition.
Yeah, I think this is a lot different in regards to, because you're essentially going to stay on the same body clock, and I think that's an important part of it. The circumstances are the circumstances, but it's the same for both teams, and so you just got to deal with it and appreciate the opportunity, which I think our guys will. This is a great stage to be on. We're going to be the only game on in the world. And you get to go do it in a place that's never been done before. So it's a great opportunity for our guys to go out there and show what they're all about.
And now the Packers under LaFleur haven't exactly been great on long road trips, including that London game. They're just 7-8 in games where they have to travel more than 1,000 miles. So think California, Florida, Houston, some of those longer trips. They are 18-13 in games where they travel less than 1,000 miles, Minneapolis, Chicago, Detroit, what have you. So definitely better close to home than they are farther away from home, but they're going a couple days early here, playing on a Friday. It's just kind of a different feel. So maybe they're able to make that adjustment a little bit better than they typically do.
Yeah, I like that. This is going to be the Boeing 77 that they're going to be flying on here. Big plane. They're going to be spread out here. Just out of curiosity, that's an 11-hour flight. Who would you sit next to if you had the opportunity to?
Oh, that's a good question. I'll narrow it down to like a position group.
Okay.
I'd say the wide receivers, because there's a good mix of personality there. You've got guys like Jaden Reed and Christian Watson who are a little bit more talkative. Romeo Doubs and Dontavian Wicks are kind of quieter. So if I feel like talking, I can slide over to some of maybe Jaden. If I feel like sleeping, I'm sure Romeo won't be saying much. So that would be my choice. We'll go with the wide receivers.
Yeah, I like that. Good group of guys that you could probably be traveling with. I like that idea. And that Green Bay Packers Philadelphia Eagles game in Brazil is this Friday. Kickoff is set for 7:15 p.m. You can watch the game right here on NBC26, your official Green Bay Packers station. Plus, the Athletics' Matt Schneidman will be reporting from Brazil. You can catch him this Friday on NBC26 Today. Matt will also be joining us right here from the airport coming up later this morning.
Well, the sun is slowly starting to rise, but due to some smoke in the upper atmosphere, it isn't quite a bright, sunny start to our morning. Besides that, things are pretty clear. The radar isn't showing really anything throughout the entire state, and we are here live at Austin Straubel Airport because the Packers will be here shortly, and they're taking off for their big season opener in Brazil, and it is an 11-hour flight. Let's give you a little bit of a look at what they are going to fly through. Now, there is a front kind of draped through the Gulf of Mexico that might cause a little bit of turbulence, but headed all the way to Brazil, things are looking to be pretty clear, and then they are expecting nice weather and low 70s for the game on Friday.
New Minions are heading to home video. Universal Pictures Home Entertainment has dated Despicable Me 4 to arrive on digital platforms September 10th and physical media September 24th. Among the release's numerous bonus features is the new Minions short, Game Over and Over. Break Free has been in the Dave Matthew Band's summer tour set list, so you might just get to hear it on their fall tour, kicking off November 15th in Pittsburgh. Other shows are scheduled in Ohio, Connecticut, and New York, and in more DMB news, the band will be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame October 19th.
Okay, here we go.
Where are we going?
We're going to Lego Land. Lego and Pixar have teamed up to create Lego Pixar Bricktoons. The new series of animated shorts puts a Lego spin on popular Pixar characters. All 5 episodes are now streaming on Disney+. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Here's a live look at our NBC26 tower cam, and even though it is just before 6 a.m., we are not seeing a ton of sunshine, and that is because there are some smoke particles due to fires burning in California lingering in the upper atmosphere. We're not seeing this impacting us here on the surface. Now, as you are headed out to the bus stop, you might want a jacket because it is just a little bit chilly out here. Temperatures in the mid-50s, eventually near 80 degrees this afternoon. We'll talk more about why we're at the airport as well as that full forecast. Stick with us.